All right, it is an early Sunday morning at the beginning of the season, so let's do a podcast. All right, so the last time we got together to do one of these, I think I said, wow, I finally got an Italian. After doing this for, geez, it's been over 3 years, holy cow. So now, I don't know how it's taken so long, but we finally have a Norwegian in the house. There's a lot of really good Norwegian skaters, but today, all the way from Norway, we have Julie Nistad Samsonsen, or Julia Nistad Samsonsen, if you want to say it more Norwegian. So did I crush it? How did I do?
Yeah. You crushed it. It was perfect.
Thank you for that. So, very first question before we really get into anything. A lot of times when I'm researching European skaters, we have all these pro teams. We've got, if you're Dutch, you're on, either this yellow team or this green team, and there's tons of sponsors and life is spectacular. And then if you're Swiss or Romanian, you're probably with some other team that's made up with 6 other countries. Norway has a national team, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And because the sport of speed skating has a tendency to be underfunded, would you say that Norway speed skating is well funded?
It's funded, so it just works out. It's not well funded at all. It's like every skater has to pay based on how well they do, I guess, during the winter, and it's not like super much we have to pay, but we have to pay, and we don't get a salary. So I know, like, if you're a Dutch skater for one of the pro teams, you get a salary and you get a bonus if you skate good. And in Norway, it's more like you don't have to pay your bill if you are like the best in the world.
So there's a strong incentive to do well.
Yeah, very strong. So, and it's also a bit like if you're a speed skater from Norway, you don't really do it for the money. You do it because you love the sport. And I think that's also what makes our team so great, because it's not like a lot of douches who are like only focusing on like external things. It's their own training to have fun and to become best at skating, because we all love skating.
Yeah, so you would say, at least what I'm hearing you say, is the culture of the Norway team is strong.
Yeah, it is very strong. And yeah, I think we're a very good team and support each other. And of course, it's like changed every now and then. People quit and new people come in. But I think that's a common thing across all the skaters, that we don't take everything for granted, because we have a small economy and have to like make things work with what we have.
And you're clearly a sprinter. We don't see you skating 15s and 3Ks and team pursuits. So you're coached by Jeremy Witherspoon. So are all the sprinters together, or are the female sprinters a separate group?
The female sprinters is only me. So I'm only skating with the boys.
Okay.
We are 2 separate groups. We have most of our camps separate usually. This year, actually, we had several camps together with the all-rounders. But just now, we had 2 weeks in Heerenveen with the sprinters, and the all-rounders were at Storefjell in Norway, having a camp there. So we are 2 separate groups, kind of with different plans. But now, when we're here in Stavanger, we have like the same training times often, and we can like cooperate in some sessions if we want to.
Okay. Well, you brought up something interesting. So You are the current, you are ladies sprinting in Norway. You've been in the sport for a while now, at the senior level for at least 4 or 5 years. Martina Rupsrud was a very good teammate of yours, a very good skater. And as often happens in skating, you know, we go through another quad and then she's like, oh, I'm going to go start the rest of my life. So I guess how impactful was she on you as a skater, and how much did it hurt to see her go?
She was very important for me in my speed skating career at the national team because she was most of the time the only other girl there. So we did everything together. We lived together, we trained together, and competed together. So having her was like a very, very good. And she and I am still very good friends. We talk all the time, but yeah, I feel like now when I only have the boys, I have to like be a bit more mindful about every session and make sure that I'm always on top, because before I could kind of rely a bit on her. If I have a bad day, then maybe she can drag me a bit up, and if I have a good day, then I can help her be better. And now I have to kind of make sure of that myself. If I have a bad day, I have to make it good on ice. I can't just have a bad ice session, right? But yeah, when she quit, I was so sad. It was like the newspaper in Norway. It was like me on the front crying. Yeah, I understand that she wanted like to do other stuff as well. And as I mentioned, it's not like giving a good economy doing skating in Norway.
Yeah.
So like just being done with dealing with having to find money to being able to do it. And yeah, then I understand that she wanted to continue with other stuff.
Is there a junior national team?
Yeah, it is, but it's like not as many camps. It's maybe like 1 week during summer ice, maybe 1 week in the spring where they get together, and some of them I think get like the opportunity to train with the senior team sometimes.
Okay.
But it's not really also that much money to really prioritize a lot more than the national senior team. So they have like groups that's younger, but it's not as much camps and stuff there.
Well, we have to find another female sprinter so that you can have some extra teammates instead of Julie and the boys.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be nice. It would be very nice. Yeah, I was trying to say just that I am training sometimes with the all-rounder girls.
Oh, okay.
And for example, now when I was in Heerenveen, I got to train with Isabelle van Els, the Belgian skater.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, and also she's here now. So yesterday, 2 days ago, I did intervals with all-rounders, and so I can do something with them. It's just not worked seamlessly into my program. I had to kind of arrange it myself sometimes.
You know, in a lot of these instances where you're doing the ice workout with the guys, you know, I assume you're in the back of that train. And I mean, is it a lot of anxiety to try to stay on the draft, or at some point are you just like, well, if they're going to get away from me, they're going to get away from me. I'm just going to skate my session the way I'm going to skate it?
Yeah, I guess before I was a bit more like, shit, I have to keep up, and it's kind of embarrassing if I drop them all the time. But now I'm more like, I know, I always knew that they are way faster than me, and if I keep up all the time, then it's just like showing that I'm getting better. So it's not like I'm freaking out about losing them a little bit. And especially if I do intervals with them, they go quite fast sometimes, and then it's like not even intervals for me anymore. It's like anaerobic capacity training. Yeah. So depends what it is. Sometimes I'm trying to do like tempos behind them, and then I always drop by a little bit, and I'm not like super stressed about it. I just take it as a bonus if I can keep up.
Yeah. So if you're doing an interval workout with the guys, give me an example of the, like, is it 3 times 400, 800? What would be a typical interval workout that you would do with the guys?
We usually do 300, 500, like 300 meter with 500 rest.
Yep.
Maybe like 5 of each. And 400 with 600 rest we can do. 500 with 700 rest.
Ooh.
Sometimes we also do 800s, but not that much. And sometimes the boys can go a bit slower, but I feel like the past few seasons they've been like having a pretty good pace at the intervals.
Yeah.
So then I'm sometimes using those workouts as an aerobic capacity and not looking at it as normal aerobic intervals anymore, because they're not. And I think that's a good thing, because then I can do more in like race speed and get very comfortable in the turns. And yeah, it's a balance, because can easily get too much if you do stuff like that, and that is supposed to be the easy session. And then the day after it's like a tempo and you're like, oh fuck, I'm so tired from yesterday.
One of the things that I think can be a problem if you're always following, and that's the way I am in my team currently. I'm the slowest guy on my team, so it's great. I get to follow these guys that are faster, and I feel like there's a ton of value in that. But I think you can also get trapped in this, if you're always following and you never have to fend for yourself. When it's time to get out there and skate on your own, does it ever feel like, oh man, I'm not prepared for this? Or do you feel like you slip in and out of that okay?
I think I had to learn how to deal with that, because for a while I was skating a lot in the back and not doing that much in the front by myself. But this season and last season, I think I found a better balance where I'm also skating a lot without the guys, and where, for example, in the Excel sessions, we do like 100 meters and starts and stuff, and then of course we do everything by ourselves. And also do it like when I do tempos and drop them or just go by myself, I kind of go by myself because they're dropping. I think I found a better balance there. Also like doing intervals alone sometimes when I'm not like in the mood of doing it hard. Yeah, then I like get a lot of training of skating in the front, because it's so different when you get the wind resistance in that. Like the point where you have to keep the balance on your skates, it's getting a bit different. So it's very important to also skate a bit in the front and not only following.
Yeah.
But I think I found a nice balance there.
Excellent. Well, let's talk geography. So we know you're from Norway, but I think a lot of us, just think that Norway is another one of these long Nordic countries. And I just did a little quick research. So here's a map, and there's Bergen, where you are originally from. So we can see Stavanger and Oslo, and down there is Denmark, and etc. So I do have this other picture. That just looks absolutely beautiful. So is that a good representation of what your hometown looks like?
Yeah, I would think so. Or, of course, that's Bryggen in Bergen. It's like the most iconic picture of Bergen, I guess.
Yeah.
With all the old wooden houses. And, of course, not everything looks like that. But, yeah, it's if you go to Bergen, you can see that. And I think Bergen is one of the most beautiful towns. I think every Bergen citizen is very partial to that, and and thinks Bergen is the best city in the world. But yeah, it's raining a bit much, but if it didn't rain all the time, then I think it's like the perfect city.
So you did your first 500 in 2009, and it was in Bergen. So I tried to do some research on the oval in Bergen. So it's an outdoor 400-meter track, right?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Okay. I can't find any information on it.
No, it's called Slotted, and right now they're really working hard for building an oval there, an indoor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think that would be huge for the Norwegian speed skating sport, and not only speed skating, because they were also planning on having like hockey and figure skating rinks in schools
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
like making it a bigger thing than just speed skating. But then it would be like good conditions most of the year, and it's basically just funding left, and then they're ready to start building. But I really hope it works out.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, I think most of us that know something about the sport, when we think of Norway, we think of Hamar and Stavanger. Are there any other indoor ovals in Norway?
Not that are like heated up.
Okay.
We have a few that's like a roof over, but they're
Yeah.
cold.
But there's a lot of outdoor ovals too. Like there's, I don't know, maybe 20 ovals in Norway. Like it seems like there's a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, Norway has speed skating as its national sport because it was so popular before, and it was like the thing everyone was like not looking at because it was radio, but everyone was like cheering for these old skating heroes. And I noticed like a lot of older people around like 70 or 80 are like so interested in, or even younger, like 50 plus, is interested in speed skating and comes talking to me and think it's so cool. So it was really big before.
I go to a lot of masters events, and you know, there's always a good contingent of Norwegians. I really, I think they're very passionate. They're very funny. All the Norwegians that I've met they just seem like they've lived a full life, and they're funny, and they're very personable. They're just great. I love the Norwegians. They're fantastic. My buddy Arne Kjeld Volvik, I mean, he's in his 90s now, and I could sit and listen to him talk for hours. I mean, he took this sport up when he was 68, I think, and now he's in his 90s and he's still racing. And we were talking in Italy last year, and he's telling me at breakfast that he has the entire next season already laid out. And he's going to skate every distance and every combination, and he knows which tracks he's going to. And he's like, well, as long as I make it that far. He's fantastic. So I'm very partial to the Norwegians, which is kind of weird that it's taken this long for me to finally have a Norwegian on the show. So welcome.
Thank you.
So the next thing I'm going to ask you is going to sound like an insult. So please bear with me.
Okay, I'm very excited now.
Yeah. So I was looking at just the history of all your 500s, right? And you started skating when you were around 9 years old. And it seemed like it took some time for you to kind of develop into the sport. So when you first started doing it, did you feel like you were going to be good at it? Or were you just like, oh, this is really fun, I enjoy this? I mean, maybe the better question is, like, how long did it take before you started feeling like, hey, I think I can be good at this?
Yeah, I started skating a bit later than many others, and especially in the club. I just came straight into this environment when I was like 8 or 9, and then when I started competing, of course, I wasn't that fast in the beginning. I was like only used to doing hockey and figure skating from when I was a child. And I remember like training with other guys, and they were doing laps and they were so fast. And I just like got clap skates, or I didn't like, I haven't trained that long. So I thought it was so heavy, and I remember saying to my dad, like, oh, I want to quit, and this is so hard, because I really always wanted to be super good at something, and at that point, I didn't see that happening.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like discouraged and saying that I wanted to quit maybe, and then he told my coach, and I got so embarrassed. So I was like, oh no. I'm not quitting. I was just kidding. and and then I was training better than before, I guess. One summer, probably also started growing more. I think I was 12 and 11 or 12 years old, and just after the summer, I did the first race, and suddenly I had a PB by like 5 seconds or more. I don't know. And I was like, what? And that season I also like became national champion for like 11 years old or 12 or whatever. And I remember that being like a huge moment for me, like being on the top of the podium and realizing that, oh shit, I can actually maybe become good at this. And after that, I was very determined that I was going to be a speed skater.
Yeah, interesting. So you kind of discovered that around 12 and you continued, like, then I noticed, like, kind of from there, it was just every year, it's just PB, 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 and you kind of did the break 50 and then get close to 40, like a lot of skaters do. You managed to make it to 3 different junior worlds. First one was Helsinki, and then you did Salt Lake City, and then Visalga. I always find it fun. I like I'll go to your 500 in Helsinki, and then I look at the results and I look at all the skaters, and it's always interesting to see, you know, there's a bunch of names that I recognize, like Daria Kachanova or Yuda or Kaya from Poland or Joy. But then I will see all these other skaters who did really well, but I don't really recognize their name. And it's interesting how many skaters, you know, maybe achieve that level and then they disappear. That's always weird to me. But I like looking at that because, you know, you maybe there was a skater that you beat by a full second and now they're like, you know, top 10 in the world. I always find that fascinating. Did you take much from your junior world experience, having gone to 3 of them?
You mean like if I learned a lot from it?
Yeah, I mean, how did it impact you? Was it cool? Was it scary?
I think it was super cool, and it was like a big milestone to like be able to go there. And also during the first years when I was like maybe going to qualify for the junior worlds, it was like more competition around my age, so like making it there was quite hard. And so then I found it very cool, like to be able to go there, and also like competing against so many others that's not from Norway and are way better, like was just like a huge learning experience and very motivating.
Were there any skaters that you saw when you got to Worlds, maybe just during training, that went by and you were like, oh my God, is she fast? Did anybody kind of leave a mark on you?
I remember, I think it was the Worlds, Junior Worlds in Salt Lake. I think Joy Bone was winning a lot there and being like super superior to most others. And I remember like being impressed by how well she skated such a young age, because like at that point people are still developing, and I thought she like skated more like a guy. If that's allowed to say, and strong and deep, and yeah, very good technique.
It's hard to find somebody that skates cleaner than she does, and she does it for, you know, 3,000 meters and makes it look easy. That's really impressive. I thought you might have said Yuta just because she's so physically, you know.
Yeah, of course I was like impressed by a lot of skaters.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to pick one, but thinking back to it, that was like the first thing that popped into my head.
So 2017, you had some knee issues?
Yeah, I had to do surgery on my left knee because a part of my skeleton inside the knee had like become loose.
Oh, good Lord.
So they basically just attached it again with the screw. And then I of course, lost a lot of training that summer. Yeah, that was the summer before the worlds, junior worlds in Salt Lake. So that was a bit of an annoying timing because I would like to be better there, but
Yeah.
I guess I still did PBs and stuff.
So when you went to Salt Lake, that was your first North American altitude race?
I think I had been in Calgary before,
Oh, okay.
but maybe just for training camp.
Okay.
I'm not completely sure. But I think I was in Calgary when I was like 16.
Okay. Did that feel strange the first time you skated at altitude and
Mm.
it's warm in the building and you're going super fast and
Yeah, I remember like we were supposed to just like have an easy session to get used to the ice. And it was kind of hard going easy enough because the speed just comes so much easier. And when you're going faster, it kind of gets heavier, so that it's not easy anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so it was very strange, but so fun to skate there. And also, like coming from Norway, being used to skate at that time at Slotto outside in Bergen, it was like so big of a difference. Like going from rain and snow and wind and like every weather. Yeah, so good conditions in Calgary or Salt Lake, and just the contrast is so big, and also the speed. So going into the last turn was like so scary. But,
Do you think all that time skating outdoors in all those terrible conditions, does that just make you stronger?
I don't know. Maybe mentally, not physically. It doesn't matter at all physically, but mentally, perhaps. I guess it's a miracle that we have had so many good skaters from Bergen, like Håvard Lorentzen and Sverre Lunde Pedersen and Henriksen. Like all of them got Olympic medals, Olympic gold. And are from Bergen, and it's like a miracle. I don't know how that happened. I think it's more about like we having a good environment and like the people there that matters. It's not the rink or the conditions. It's more about the community and how we think about skating.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan or proponent of culture. I think it matters in your personal life and your professional life. And if you have a strong community like that, I think it really means something. And that's cool. I never really knew much about, I think of the skaters as being Norwegian, not as being from Bergen. So that's an interesting perspective that you bring. So you completed your junior career. And then February of 2019, you got to make your first World Cup appearance, and that was in Hamar. You skated a PR. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, it was a very cool experience. I never did a World Cup before, so I was super nervous.
Well, you were with the home fans, so I assume you got a very good backing from the home crowd.
Yeah. I can't really remember the race at all. I just remember like the period leading up to it and how I felt kind of.
Were you more excited or more nervous?
Yeah, I was definitely more nervous. Yeah.
Well, that was in February of 19. So then really starting in the 2019-2020 season, you really became a World Cup skater at that point and started making your regular appearances. But there's one race that kind of stuck out to me, and it was in February of 2020. You had your first 38, and it was a 38.66. So if you were going to crush 39, you did it in a big way. Do you remember that first time breaking 39? Was that a big deal for you?
Yeah, that was cool. But I kind of knew that I could do it because I did like 39 and low or mid in Norway, so it should be possible. Yeah. And also like the first year skating with the senior national team, I think then you will like make PBs anyway.
Yeah.
Just being consistent skating with people who are better than you learning so much in so short time.
So when you became a senior national team member, did you feel very welcome?
Yeah, I did. It was a nice group then. I remember we were going to Calgary for like 5 weeks, so I just got thrown into like being with them a lot, and was a very welcoming and nice group.
Was Jeremy part of the group at that time?
Yeah,
Coaching
he
you?
was a
Okay.
coach.
So he's Canadian, so that probably made the trip to Calgary even better.
Yeah, we had like a trip to Kelowna between, like in the middle of the camp. So that's because he's like from the area, or his wife's family. So then we went there and had like Easter week, and I feel like when we go to Calgary with him, he can show us a bit more, like go hiking and like, for example, have a week there because he knows that it's nice. And
What kind of coach is he? How would you describe him?
um, he is quite analytical, but he's also very like focused on keeping it simple. So kind of strange combination, but he's so focused on the ground rules of skating, like being deep and yeah, just doing stuff that's maybe before I came into the national team were seen as on maybe too simple, because all the clubs are like thinking about, oh, you have to turn your blade out or in 2 degrees, and it's like so small, kind of weird details to be looking at. And in starting to train with him, it was more like going back to the basics, being better at like position and yeah, things maybe some people think are too basic, but I think that being good at the basics are maybe what makes the best skaters so good.
Interesting. How much does he rely on video for your development? How much video are you getting fed back to you?
That's actually like a bit different from year to year. This year we have been using video a lot. But it's like a resource thing. Like right now, Björn Magnussen is having his camera at the track and filming everything and sending it to us, and that's a huge resource for us. And then it's very nice to be able to talk about it and send it to Jeremy and getting feedback. But it's not always we use it so much. But I think when we do, it's a really good tool.
Well, here's another tool that I see skaters use. I've done this a couple times. I didn't like it. Let's look at this together. This is you with the cable.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks to me like you're handling it pretty well. That looks aggressive. You posted this on social media, and you said guess the speed, so I guessed the speed, and you never answered me. So did you time that whole lap? Oh, you don't?
No, I just wanted to hear what people thought.
Oh, okay. So you didn't time the lap? We don't know what it was?
No, I didn't do the whole lap. We just did the first turn and the backstretch.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm sorry about that to disappoint you, but I don't really have the speed or the time or anything. But I think it's pretty fast.
Yeah, it looked fast to me.
Yeah, I think it was quite fast, and like using the cable to pull you up like that, it's so nice to being able to practice a turn before you're tired.
Yeah.
But like even doing 100-meter excel, if you're going to have that speed into it, you have to go pretty hard.
Right.
So it's like totally different, and I felt like I learned so much from that training, because it's easier to adapt when you're not tired. So then I could like push my limits a bit, and also the backstretch. After doing 200 meters, you're also pretty tired, even more tired than the turn. So then I felt like I could also learn how to skate the backstretch even better.
So how many times have you done the cable training?
I mean, I've tried a couple times during the past few years, but I've never really had a whole session dedicated to doing only that before now. And we're
So
also doing it now in Stavanger the upcoming weeks. So I think I'm happy that I finally get to do it a bit more structured. And I think that's a huge advantage for us who has a bit slower tracks that's cold and the ice is maybe a bit softer. So
yeah.
when we're coming like to Salt Lake and Calgary this fall to qualify for the Olympics, then we really have to be used to that speed. So I think it's a very important part of our training now.
Well, you just hit on another thing I wanted to talk about, but you just brought it up. So here in the United States, we have an actual event called Olympic trials, right? And that's where we set our Olympic team for the most part. But you just mentioned that you're going to World Cups to qualify for the Olympics. So, so you guys don't have what I would call an Olympic trials in Norway. Yours are settled in World Cups.
Yeah, because I mean, for the IOC, you have to qualify, and that's not the hardest. And it's easier than qualifying for the Worlds because it's more spots, right?
Yeah.
But for qualifying for Norway, it's pretty strict because the Olympic Committee, or I don't know what to call it, in Norway are having so many good winter athletes. So they have set this limit that you have to be top 8 one time or top 12 two times to qualify. And that's like from World Cups or like international big competitions. So that's what you have to do.
Oh, that's very different than. Yeah, it's interesting how all the countries have different ways of doing this stuff. I don't have it figured out. I'm not sure I can sort it out. I
guess
can't
like
keep
the
track.
IOC is the same for everyone, but many countries, I guess, have the qualification right before the Olympics to make sure that it's the best people who are actually skating.
Yeah.
And of course, we also can make like alterings based on who is skating good and how they're developing throughout the season. But we have to do the work ourselves in the World Cups, and maybe some exceptions are being made in like a final race before the Olympics, or like just looking at the athletes. But I think it just should be that you qualify your own spots.
Yeah. That makes sense. As long as you know the rules and you know what you're trying to prepare for, you know. So December of 2021, there was a World Cup in Salt Lake City, and you broke 38. You did a 37.9. Your next closest to that is like a 38.2. So that was a pretty large PB. Do you remember that specific race?
Yeah, I do. It was. I remember it not really feeling that great, like compared to what I've done before. So, but I think I was just like really on and aggressive in my skating, and I didn't do something super strange in the last corner. I just kept skating, and I think that's the most important. Like you have to just keep a position where you can be at it, and yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Did you start in the outer then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
second
think so.
inner, and you didn't just survive the corner, you actually made something with it. So it seems like a lot of PBs in the 500 are starting in the outer.
Yeah, but I've done both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like it was a period where I also did better in the last outer.
Do you remember your first Worlds? Was that a big deal, or did it not seem that big of a deal because you had been a World Cup skater?
Was this during the bubble in Heerenveen?
Yes. So February of 2021. So yeah, the bubble.
Yeah, that was
Or was it just weird?
it was kind of a strange experience to be skating
Yeah.
there, because it was like no audience, and we've been there for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Like doing several competitions, so it was big, but it was strange.
Yeah. Well, kind of like your first Olympics, you know. I mean, Beijing
Yeah, that was also very strange.
Yeah, lockdown and staying in your room and it wearing dog muzzles everywhere. So,
Like,
I mean,
tested every day.
yeah, you got to go to the Olympics, but it just feels so. So I'll ask you the same question I ask everybody, like, because 22 was so bizarre, does that make 26 just that much more important that you want to be there?
I think it was just as important last time. Yeah. But of course, this time is very, very important to me.
So what's interesting about the sport of speed skating, or a lot of the Olympic sports, is you'll go to an Olympics and then you'll turn around and go to a World Championships, which always freaks me out. But you went to Worlds in Hamar. You guys did a team sprint and you got a bronze medal. So I assume you remember that.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one because it wasn't really that many teams competing about it.
Okay. So you were third out of 3, or?
I think I was third out of 3. Maybe
Okay.
4, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but more importantly, the note that I made here was in that season, you were having knee problems again. So you finished up that season, and a lot of good things happened. But all of a sudden, it's April, and you're back in surgery. So now you got to start over again. So how much of a distraction, or how difficult was it to get through that surgery and then get back to training?
I was like very bummed out about having to do surgery again because it wasn't that many years since last time. But I was very motivated because I'd been looking forward to the Olympics for so long, and then during the season I was like, my knees were just getting worse and worse, and like during the Olympics I was taking like painkillers to just get through the training and the racing, and I felt like it really destroyed my results there, and like my development coming up to the race like just stopped because I couldn't do things how I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So when it got to like doing the surgery, it was pretty clear to me that it was necessary, and my motivation was still very high because I was 22 years old and I was having so many years in front of me, and my mindset then was like, now I do this surgery and I have 4 new years to like recover and train myself up again to the next Olympics. My motivation was high, but of course it was super boring, and it's never fun to like use so much time just like sitting on your couch and trying to get better, doing like these small exercises, just practicing to extend your leg, or doing like squat with body weight, like being a huge thing.
So really, when you look at coming right off of an Olympic year, then having to do surgery, and now you're trying to build yourself back up over 4 years. Now we're sitting here going into the Olympic year. Are you where you thought you could be? Are you pleased with where you're heading right now?
I think I am on the right path. Like in training, I'm skating faster than I've done before during tempos, and I feel more confident when I'm skating. Like doing excels, I feel stronger than before, and also in the turns, more stable, and like I can really increase the power without losing position that much. So I feel in a way better position right now than before to skate fast.
What is a good tempo lap for you?
I am not really the queen of tempos, if you can say that, because I've always been kind of slow in tempos, and then even doing faster laps in the race, which shouldn't be possible because then it's an outer lap, like 1 outer turn and 1 inner, and in the training I do 2 inners.
Yeah, well, you and I are the same, so thank you. I'm glad there's more than one of us, but please continue.
Yeah, I've worked a lot on like my mental game and trying to be as focused on the tempo lap in training as in the race, because like getting the last kind of intensity or the last percentages kind of hard because when you're racing, you have this extra level that you get from the nerves, and but I think it's getting better and better, and I notice also in training that I'm getting better at giving it all on training as well, not just in like terms of technique and how well I want to skate, but how hard I can go while still skating well. It depends a bit. Now in Heerenveen I did 27.1, and that's pretty good for me. I should do faster. I think I should be able to do like the 26 something, but yeah, that's where I am at now. And
Well, you went 37.9, so you must have done a 26 in a race at some point, right?
no, I did 27.3 in that race, I think,
Oh,
or
okay.
27.2.
Yeah, where are your openers right now?
Right now, I'm not sure. In the Worlds in Hamar, I did 10.6,
Okay.
but I haven't done 100-meter timed since then.
Okay.
We have done hundreds, but just in training. So it's hard to say. I hope I'm faster.
Okay. This one I got to ask you about. So what is it with this Christiansund track? Am I saying that right? So you did an event there, and you have a track record there. So why are you guys racing at Christiansund?
That's one of the tracks in Norway that's like cold. So if it's minus degrees outside, then it's also very cold inside. And it's just like the thing is, nationals are being held different places, and those tracks really likes to have nationals. So that's just it. We have qualifying races there sometimes in Bjugn and Kristiansund. And 2 years ago, it was also a problem in Stavanger with the ice. So then we had to find another option, and then we went to Kristiansund instead.
Gotcha.
So then it also was some racing there. It's a pretty new track. It's not that many people who have raced there, so I should have the track record.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. So you gave a good explanation. Or the 23-24 season World Sprints was in Inzell, and you finished 22nd. You were pretty consistent with your finishing position with 500s and thousands across the board. I assume you want to do better, but in that event, I mean, did you skate as well as you thought you could, or was it a little disappointing? How did you feel about that one?
I think it was it was an okay weekend for me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. My thousands was better than I maybe would have expected at that point, because that's something I've been struggling with always. That last lap, it's just like it's puncturing and nothing is working anymore. Yeah, but I think it was all okay. I guess like world sprints with 500 and 1,000 has never really been my main goal to be good at. It's like the 500 that's really my focus and where I want to be the best at one point.
Yeah. Well, last year, I mean, I think you had another, building block to getting yourself back to where you want to be. It was great to be able to welcome the world to Milwaukee last year. We got to have our first World Cup in like 20 years, apparently. I was lucky enough to be a volunteer, so I got to be on the infield for the whole event. I'm sure you heard me talking to you at different times. But you had 2 lowland PBs. So what did you think of our little track here in Milwaukee? How did you enjoy it?
I think it was very nice to skate there. Of course, you have like extra wind going around.
No.
So it goes. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
it for sure went fast because I came straight from Calgary and I didn't have the best weekend there. So I was a bit disappointed by the races. And I knew that I could skate way faster than I did there. So it was kind of strange to do the same time in the 500 in Milwaukee as I did in Calgary. But I think that's a good thing that it's more tracks where it's possible to skate fast, because that's why I like skating, is to skate fast.
Yeah, so I say this all the time when we talk about it, but the gentleman that we have preparing our ice, Paul Glomsky, is a legend in the sport. He's a master of ice. So we got the ice surface where it needed to be, and of course, we have our fans blowing, but we can, Milwaukee can be incredibly fast. But you also skated basically 2 identical times. My coach always says that when you start to skate super consistent, like where you keep doing the same times, it means you're about to take another step. So I'm hoping that's where you were at the end of last season. The other thing that took place, I don't know, I want your opinion on this. What do you think about this goofy mixed gender relay?
I had never tried it before Milwaukee.
Okay.
That was the first time I ever tried mixed gender relay. And when I had watched it before, I was a bit skeptical because it was such a new exercise and it was very chaotic. A lot of kind of dangerous exchanges there because the rules were kind of opposite of short track rules and how you position coming out of the turns. I don't know if it was the opposite or if it was just a lack of rules, but it was a bit chaotic and kind of dangerous. So I was a bit excited going into it, being like, how is this going to turn out?
Yeah, let's look at one of these exchanges really quick just for fun.
Without any major mistakes here. Here it comes. And now they're in the zone. Here's the exchange. They're looking for their partners. Italy is away. The Dutch are away. Everybody safely through. So now back to...
It was really fun. It was really fun. I'm not used to doing that. Like, I haven't done a lot of short track in my life, but I've done some. But like getting pushed in that speed, the boys are going so fast, and then we have to like get up to a certain speed to make it kind of safe to do the exchange. But I think it was a really fun experience. And like after doing it, I was a bit more optimistic to the whole thing because it's more demanding on, like, it's a bit more strategic about like how you should position yourself, and you still have to skate kind of fast because it's not like a semifinal and then a final.
Yeah.
It's just
it's the fastest time.
Yeah, so I think it was a fun experience, but yeah, I definitely had some things I would have done different if I had another chance.
Yeah, what would you do different?
Like the one turn I did, suddenly the front just did a break in the group, and I was not ready. So I was like fighting to keep the gap.
Yeah.
Because I have to skate past another skater and try to get because I was the fourth and number 1 and 2 was like breaking. So I would have like been more ready for them to suddenly go away way faster. So
yeah.
But it ended quite well. So
well, yeah, you were with Magnussen, right?
Yeah, he did an incredible last lap.
Yeah,
so
he was a full second or more than a second behind second place, and the Canadian guy kind of took it easy down the final stretch, and he snuck in the inside, and you guys ended up getting second place.
Yeah, that was very cool. I never had a podium in a World Cup before, in a senior World Cup. So, yeah, that was very fun.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Another question I wanted to ask you. When you came to Milwaukee, you were in A group in the 500, and I couldn't figure out why.
It's just like about who is coming and not.
Okay.
Because there was some Asians who were...
Yeah, they were at the Asian Games. Okay. Yeah, it was cool. It was good for me because that meant that I could get a little bit of video, which we'll look at in a minute. But so you finished in Hamar with a 38.51. You finished in 17th place. So again, I mean, I asked you this question already, but did that result confirm that you're on the right path in your recovery?
Yeah, because I never really skated that fast in Hamar or in Norway before. And a few weeks before, I did 38.4 in Heerenveen, and that was also a new Heerenveen PB.
Nice.
So I knew that I was on the right track, and like my base level had like gone up a bit, and I felt more confident skating. So that was very nice. And also just looking at the difference between like 10th place up to me, it wasn't really that big.
Yeah.
So it's so many skaters in that small, in like those couple tenths.
Yeah.
So it made me very motivated for this season, and like knowing that it's not that much that I have to improve to get to the Olympic qualification level I have to be at. And yeah, so I thought that was really cool. I, of course, would like to skate even faster, but
You will.
can't expect it to happen so fast. But also, like, past the season, I struggled with my back, and it was like during those few weeks that I managed to really do good starts again and get my starts back to 10.6, which I haven't been able to in many months. So so that was also like a big change for me, that I found a way to get my acceleration up and going again, and then the lap also gets way better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you can open in 10.6 instead of 10.9, that's a huge difference. Well, let's take a look at a little bit of your skating. I really enjoy doing this with skaters because I'm very curious to hear from you. You know, what do you see? What are you working on? What do you like? What don't you like? So let's start with a quick opener here. You and our friend Serena Perger.
Yeah. This is from Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, this is Milwaukee.
Yeah, Serena is a very good starter.
Yeah.
I look at this and I the first thing I notice is how she's like landing in a better position to push right away, and I put my skates a bit too much under my body, if that makes sense. It's like it has to go, my skate has to go out a bit before I can push, because it lands kind of strange under me.
So you need to be reaching more, you think?
No, not reaching more. I just have to make sure I don't put my foot under me, like it's flat. It has to be a bit more.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, so I can push there, because now I'm landing like there, and then I have to glide, and then I can push.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think what I run into, or what I see a lot of skaters do, is what Shimabukuro calls the pre-extension, where instead of landing in a coiled state ready to pounce, you're extending down, and you hear that slamming is that you've extended your leg, and now you're not in a deep position anymore. And you have two choices. You either short push, or you have to wait to recoil and then push. I think that's an extremely difficult thing to get right in those opening, 15, 20 meters, because you're going to be, you're exploding. You're really quite literally leaping from state to state. And like you said, like Serena's landing in that position where she's immediately ready to go. So that's an interesting perspective.
Like when I get out of the start position, I have a bad habit of getting a bit like my glutes or hips going up and back, and my back going a bit flat. So I need to find a way where I can land with like kind of that like when you look at track and field 100-meter specialists running, their whole body is like extended straight. But
Yeah.
I have this habit where I get my hips behind and then the line breaks, and then I don't get power into the ice. Then I just push myself up instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody mention that before, but that's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, but you have to just keep it simple because, as you said, it goes so fast. And when you're like going out from the start, you're having maximal intensity, and then you can't really think about what you're doing.
No.
You have to have done it so many times in training, and even off ice, like training just for sprinting and trying to like get it on ice also.
Do you feel like there's things you can do off ice to really help you get off the line, or do you feel like you just got to be on ice with skates?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things you can do off ice, like just practicing running with or without resistance, and doing like marching, practicing to like have those strong lines through your body. And just bringing those like core ideas onto ice. And after like a period where I like only focused on those super basic things, I often get on ice, and I haven't done a start in a while, but it works better just because I've been so focused on those basic stuff off ice, and somehow it transfers. And if I like go, sometimes I can like overthink it and do a lot of starts on ice, but it just gets worse and worse because I'm thinking too much about it maybe. And sometimes I just need to do some basic stuff off ice and then go on ice and have the same simple ideas in my head, and then it works out again way better.
So let's look a little backstretch and corner entry here. So of course your coach is going to say you weren't low enough, right?
Yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking about. I have to be way deeper.
Really? You're serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, good Lord.
That was way too high. And like, especially going into the turn, I can see that once I start doing turn strides, I go like way higher. So I have to, it's easier to kind of stay deep in the straights, I think. And once I do turn, I think I'm like twisting my body in some way, and then it's of course also harder to stay deep.
Well, let's see.
I remember I think I got to the line way too fast on this race. You can see like where you stopped the video now, I was already too close.
Oh, okay. Your
So I
track
couldn't
pattern,
really go
you
for
were
it. So
heading
my
to
track-
the, yeah. So you're saying you're here too early and you got a little stuck?
Yeah, kind of have to pause for a bit because I'm too close
Yeah.
and also
but
too high.
here's another video that, so I told you that I shared this video with my skaters because I thought it was really good technique and I wanted to show them, you know, a world-class skater doing things well. And I mentioned that to you. And what did you tell me?
Yeah, I told you that I was skating too high.
Not low enough.
See so much of my thighs there. I think the goal should be that you can't really see much above the knees.
All right, let's see that again. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Gotta
that's
sit
like-
deeper. That's the Jeremy Witherspoon way. You need to sit
That's
deeper.
the Jeremy Witherspoon way.
And he's a tall guy, so I don't know. Is it easier to sit low when you're tall? Maybe not.
I don't think so. I think it's just as hard for everyone. It's just like proportional to your own body. You have to carry your own body weight.
You've made it clear that your focus is the 500, and you wish your 1,000 was better, but you're probably not putting a ton of focus on it. So when you look at the 500 itself, I think you can break it down and just say, well, there's the opener and the lap, or you could say, well, the opener is really the first 15 meters transitioning into skating, and then the second 50 trying to accelerate, and you could say corner entries. And so when you're trying to get better at your 500, do you have it broken down into 50 different things, or are you just trying to sit deeper and that's the end of it?
The main thing, like being deep, I feel like is something I can work on during the entire race. It's always the same. But we, of course, also have different sessions where we focus on different parts of the race. So if we do a start training, then we focus on the early excel. And if we do like a tempo training, then it's more like top speed training. Of course, also the excel phase, but then it's like the top speed that's the focus. And with the machine that pulls you up to speed, then it's also top speed, turn, maintenance, like maintaining speed in top speed. And so we have like different sessions for different like phases of the race. And so if we have like an acceleration phase training, then of course I'm like thinking different about it than if we have a top speed training or if we have an interval training. But I'm trying my best for all of these workouts to be in sprint position. So no matter what I do, it's like how I want to skate in a race. And of course you can break it down a lot, but you can also make it quite simple.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me like you finished the season strong. You've had a good summer. You seem very quietly confident about the way things are going on with you right now. So when are you going to get to go to the line and actually do a 500?
It's not that long. We have a test race in about a week and a half. So I'm quite nervous about that. Like, I didn't think I was nervous about it, but now just talking about it, I know it is like that it's very soon.
So September 27th, I assume?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's next Wednesday. I think it's 24th.
Oh, really? A Wednesday race?
Yeah, it's like an evening race here in Stavanger. So we'll see how it goes.
So are you going to tell yourself that you're not going to pay attention to the number and just focus on how you're skating, or are you thinking about the numbers?
Like, primarily, I think about how I'm skating, and I will try to have the same mindset as I will have in the World Cups and the qualifiers. But that's a challenge. And that's one of the things I'm working the most on this year, is like making it easier for myself to be ready to race, even though it's just like an evening race here in Stavanger. Maybe the conditions aren't great, but I want to prepare myself to skate in the World Cups and World Championships and Olympics and everything that's coming. And then I need to have those races before at the best level I can. So that's where I'm at now. Like, I'm trying to be in the right race mode, even though it's not that important. I only have myself to skate against, not really any girl sprinters that I have to beat to qualify for the Olympics or the World Cups. It's just that I need to show that I have the level.
Yep.
So finding the motivation in those small test races leading up to the World Cups is like what I'm focusing on now. And of course, then the time is important.
Yeah.
I will judge the time. I can't lie about that. But the most important is how I skate and how I transfer the skating and training to the races.
If you open in 10-4, you're gonna message me. I did a 10-4 in Hamar. Holy shit.
I'll do that. Yeah, I hope so. But that's more than I expect. But that would be insane.
It's a big jump. So yep, you can't even see my quads. Look at this.
Yeah.
I'm sitting deep. I showed you.
That's the goal. Invisible quads and 10-4.
Yeah. Yeah, then the lap will be a 6-4, and then you'll be on your way.
Yeah, that would be that will never happen on the
No,
first
don't
race.
say that.
No, don't say that. I can hope.
Yes.
We can hope.
Does Jeremy help you with the mental side of the sport?
Yeah, he has been like talking about it as long as I've known him, that like visualizing is important, and like if I think about something, I can always come and talk to him about it. But his main task, of course, is helping us during training, making our program, and like the physical part of it. And he has, of course, thoughts about like mental training and how to prepare mentally. But this year I've actually been using a separate mental coach to work on these things.
Really?
Yeah. So that's like a thing I started with during last season. Around the middle of the season, then I started getting help, more consistent, and I've just kept it up during the spring and summer to really try to take like some new steps, and I think that's a very important thing.
That's really interesting. We talk about that on this channel all the time. It's very rare, actually, that I have a skater on where it doesn't at least come up at some point. Some skaters have really struggled with it. And as as Artur Vosh would say, some people will admit to you that they have mental struggles with the sport. The rest are liars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thank you for sharing that. I think it's, even for somebody like me that's just I'm just a master skater, but it's something that I've dealt with the whole time. I still deal with it. I talk about it a lot with my skaters, and I think it's important to accept it, be aware of it, embrace it, try to use it for good instead of evil. And you're going to care about what you're doing because you're putting so much into it. And then when you have the courage to compete, that means you are exposing yourself to the potential of failure. And to me, that's always the hardest part, because it's like, wow, you put all this time into this and that's all you can do. Wow, what a waste of time. Like, you got to get those voices out of your head, and you better enjoy the journey, because if it's only about the times, you're going to be leading a miserable life, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's many different sides to the mental training. Of course, one is if you're struggling with like anxiety leading up to competitions, then it's one thing you have to deal with. Or it can be the other side, that you're struggling with not being nervous at all, and you have to find a way to get excited. But also like how you think every day in training. Are you prepared for what you're doing? This ice session, have you visualized it many times so you know what you're doing and what you want to do, and do you want to reinforce it afterwards? Like, have you set goals? Where do you want to be this season? What's your most important things to improve? It's so many things where I think we can gain a lot, and it's so nice to have someone who you can talk to it about. And even just talking about it makes me realize sometimes what I need to work on, because it makes it clearer in my own head, kind of saying it out loud.
Do you share your goals with other people?
Yeah, I do. To some extent. It's not like I'm walking around saying it to everyone, but if they ask, then I can tell them my goals. And I have never really like kept it a secret. I know some people don't want to say out loud if they want to become a world champion or Olympic champion, because it puts so much pressure on them, and people don't believe it or something. But I think it's a good thing to share, because then you put some pressure on yourself.
Do you, so for your goals for this season, are they very specific?
I have more specific goals, like I want to open a certain time or do like these lap times in training. I have like also more general goals, like I want to qualify for the Olympics. And then I broke it down, like how fast do I have to skate to do this? And also long-term goals, like how I want to do in the Worlds and in the Olympics long term. So depends, but it's many different ways to make goals, and yeah, you also have to be able to evaluate them as you go, have a time limit for them, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can make them pretty detailed and also pretty general. So yeah.
Well, the good thing about being born in the year 2000, we can always easily tell how old you are. So when we're going into the 26 Olympics, you're 26. Do you give much thought to how long you want to stay in the sport?
I have been thinking about it a bit more recently because it's so many people who are quitting, and then it makes me think also like how long do I want to skate? But so far, I think it's really fun to skate, and the only thing that is holding me back, being like not sure how long I want to keep going, is that it's a bit difficult to be a skater in Norway. Like you have to travel a lot because we don't have a base that has ice all year round, and we don't really get salary for doing it. So you have to find some sort of income or support somewhere, like sponsors or even family. I know a lot of people are dependent on their family to make sure they can pay the bills for the World Cups and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's a bit how well it goes skating, how it goes financially, and yeah, I would like to skate for a long time because I love skating, and I really want to see how good I can get. So I won't be happy before I reach a certain level, and or maybe stop developing and feel like I've done it all. But
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. No, I think we're we found you at just the right time to be on the show, because I really feel like what you're telling me about how last year ended, how you're very quietly confident about the way things are going right now, I think it's going to be a really good season for you, and then maybe that gives you more confidence to keep going and wonder. I wonder how good I can be, which is a cool place to be. So how much do you enjoy a team sprint?
I think team sprint is extremely fun, but it's a bit hard or challenging in Norway to find a team.
Yeah.
So during the years, we've had a lot of different people skating
Yep.
it. So that's like a challenge sometimes, that we have to train with a new person almost every time, and
Yeah.
it's difficult to adapt, and you have to know the limits of each person and how to like plan the race, who should do which lap and stuff. It's not the easiest, but I think it's very fun, and I hope we can do more of it in the future. But then I need more girls who are willing to skate,
Yeah.
and that makes this fun as well.
Well, it's still not a Olympic event, correct?
Yeah, and I think that also makes it harder for people to really go for it and decide that they want to try to become good at team sprint, because it's such a cool event. I don't get why it's not an Olympic event.
Yeah.
Because then I guess it would be even more competition, because countries would choose their best skaters for that exercise. Right now it's a bit both. Like sometimes they choose the best skaters, sometimes they don't, because they can't prioritize exercise that's not Olympic when they try to qualify for the Olympics on something else.
Have you ever, like our last guest, Serena, have you ever gotten pulled into a team pursuit?
No. I haven't. Maybe I will one day, but I don't think that will be my strongest distance, because I'm, sprinter, and especially 500 is my distance. So
Yeah.
who knows? It depends on the speed, how that would go, but I've never tried.
What have I missed? What haven't I asked you that I should have asked you?
I don't know. I feel like we've been talking about a lot of stuff, so
Yeah.
I can't really think about anything right now. But
Well, this is something that I've wanted to ask, and I don't know where I heard this, but I feel like there's a real rivalry between the Dutch and the Norwegians. Is that a real thing, or is that just me imagining things?
I don't think so.
You
I
don't
feel like
see it
it's
that way?
more rivalry between the Dutch themselves.
Oh,
Like between the teams there, I feel like it's more.
yeah.
But of course, it's always huge competitors that are Dutch, and then it will be some, I guess. But I feel like everyone in the skating world is talking to each other, and it's a good tone most of the time. So it's not that much drama, really.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground. It's really been fun getting to know you a little bit, and I'm always fascinated when I have a guest on who I don't know a lot about. And I'm like, oh, this thing's only going to be 20 minutes long. You know, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And here we're well over an hour and a half, which is phenomenal. I said this before probably 6 times in this interview, but I really like the way you finished last season. I like the fact that your injuries are in the past and that you've had a good summer and you're very quietly confident about the direction you're going. So I think it's going to be a really good season for you. I'm super excited to see, you know, when you open in 10-4, you better message me, because I think that's going to be a great moment for you.
Yeah, I will.
But I also really struggle to close these interviews. I always think that I do a terrible job at the end. So I have an idea, and I want you to help me out with this. Are you willing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to close the show, and I want you to do it in Norwegian. Thank you for being with me. Julia, close us out.
Tusen takk for at jeg fikk være med her i dag. Det var kjempekjekt å være med på podcasten. Så ses vi forhåpentligvis neste gang.